Hi, I'm Merle, and I read to everybody in the afternoon. And today I found the Bubble Guppies. It's Firefighter Gil. Early one morning, Molly and Gil were on their way to school with Bubble Puppy. Suddenly, a squirrel jumped out of the bushes. Woof, woof, barked Bubble Puppy. He ran after the squirrel and chased it up a tree, but then he couldn't get down. Gil climbed up to help Bubble Puppy. When he looked down, he got really dizzy. Gil was stuck too. A fire truck raced over to the tree. A firefighter got out. He called to his partner to raise the ladder, and then he climbed up and rescued Gil and Bubble Puppy. "Thanks for saving us," Gil said to the firefighter. Bubble Puppy barked happily. Gil noticed that the firefighter had a dog, too. "This is Dottie. She's our fire dog," said the firefighter. After the fire truck left, Molly and Gil and Bubble Puppy continued on their way to school. "I can't wait to tell everybody about being rescued by a real firefighter," said Gil. In their classroom, Gil and Molly told Mr. Grouper and their friends about their adventure. "I just got rescued by a firefighter. Bubble Puppy and I were stuck in a tree, and he saved us," Gil said. "Yay, yeah," said Molly. "He raised the ladder and climbed way up to help." "Sounds like a real emergency," exclaimed Mr. Grouper. "What's an emergency?" Una wanted to know. "An emergency is when someone needs help right away." Gil thought that the firefighter was totally awesome. He wanted to be a firefighter too. "What does a firefighter do?" he asked Mr. Grouper. "Let's find out," said Mr. Grouper. "Line up, everybody. We're going out to the fire station. Field trip," the Bubble Guppies cheered. When the Bubble Guppies and Mr. Grouper arrived at the fire station, they saw a fire truck outside with a long ladder and a shiny siren. "A fire truck has everything you need in an emergency," Mr. Grouper explained, as everyone gathered around. "Let's take a look." When firefighters get an emergency, they might need to rescue somebody way up high. That means they need to climb a ladder, said Mr. Grouper. Gil and Molly watched as the firefighter raised the long ladder into the air. "And if a firefighter has to put out a fire, they use a hose," continued Mr. Grouper. A firefighter attached the hose to the fire hydrant and water gushed out. When there's an emergency, a fire truck turns on its sirens. The bright lights and loud sounds tell everyone to move out of their way so the firefighters can do their jobs, Mr. Cooper explained. The Bubble Guppies started home from the station. "Firefighters are the coolest. I want to be a firefighter," exclaimed Gil. Just then they saw a fire truck on the road with its lights flashing. The sirens blared. There was an emergency. Gil and Molly followed the fire truck to the emergency. Dottie and some of the firefighters were stuck. Dottie had chased a squirrel into the tree, and when the firefighters tried to rescue her, their ladder broke. "This is a job for Firefighter Gil," Gil said. Gil went into the fire truck and put on a fire hat and coat. He bravely climbed up the ladder, but it wasn't long enough. Gil pulled out his walkie-talkie and said, "We need to make the ladder taller," he told Molly. Molly nodded and pushed the lever and raised the ladder. The ladder got taller and taller. Putting one hand over the other, Gil climbed the last rungs. He reached the firefighters and Dottie. Gil had saved the day. They all climbed down the ladder until they were safe on the ground. Woof! Barked Dottie. She sang thank you, the firefighter told her. Hooray for Firefighter Gil, everybody cheered. The end. Have a safe day. Bye, everybody.